Does education really matter in advertising? Look, I once hired an art director with a philosophy degree over 3 candidates, yes, 3 with advertising degrees. And do you want to know why? Because the philosophy major could actually think. Meanwhile, the ad school grads were regurgitating the same case studies their portfolios were drowning in. And after 25 years of recruiting for top agencies and brands like Red Bull, Toyota, Disney, Bank of America, Sony, even the US Army, I'm about to shatter some education myths that might be holding your career back. And yes, I will tell you what actually matters instead of, spoiler alert, it's not where your parents spent $200K. Hey, Mindy Worel here. If we're meeting for the first time, I've spent over 2 decades placing creatives and marketers at every level, from junior level copywriters to ECDs at the agencies you dream about working for. I've helped to build teams at 360i, Team One, Cashmere, and Left Field Labs. And after reviewing thousands of portfolios and resumes, I've noticed something fascinating about education that nobody's talking enough about. Hey, before we dive in, if you're currently job hunting in advertising or marketing, I want you to drop a comment with your biggest question about how your education is being perceived. I read every comment and I might feature yours in my next video. So let's start with the myths about education in advertising that need to die immediately. So myth number 1. You need an advertising degree to break into the industry. So, where did you study advertising? Actually, I studied at the JCC. Next! Yeah, because that's how real agencies hire. Listen, I've placed successful ECDs who studied everything from English literature to architecture. What's on your diploma matters about as much as your high school yearbook quote. Myth 2. Prestigious schools give you an automatic advantage. Ah, yes, that's my tuition was more expensive than your house advantage. Reality check. I've seen mediocre portfolios from top programs that couldn't get past the receptionist, and mind-blowing work from self-taught creatives that had creative directors fighting over them. The art directors at Deutsch or VML aren't impressed by your school's name, unless they're a snob. They're too busy for looking ideas. They can barely remember where they went to school themselves, okay? Myth number 3, education credentials matter more as you rise up the ladder. This one is backward in the most spectacular way. The higher you go up, the less your formal education matters. No one's ever asked a creative director candidate where they went to school, except for that one asshole. They're too busy asking about the awards on your shelf and whether you can manage a team of fragile creative egos without causing a mass exodus. But if education doesn't matter in the way most people think, what does replace it? Hey, that's coming up next, and it's not the $60K a year portfolio school, wouldn't you know, when education actually matters. Now, I'm not saying education is worthless. Here is when it does matter. First, education matters when it teaches you how to think, not what to think, okay? We've got conceptual versus regurgitated. The philosophy major I mentioned, they could deconstruct a brief, identify the actual, ask the problem, and build an original solution. Their education taught them to question assumptions. That is their superpower in advertising. Second, education matters when it exposes you to diverse thinking and experiences. Okay, think of cross-disciplinary work. Some of the best creatives I've placed had really unexpected educational backgrounds. Psychology, philosophy, archaeology, analytics, architecture, or no degree at all that gave them unique perspectives that their competitors just didn't have. I placed a sociology manager as a strategist at TBWA Chiat who blew away the competitors because they understood cultural dynamics more than anyone with a traditional marketing degree. The psychology candidate became Apple's most successful UX designer because they understood cognitive patterns, not just design trends. And third, education matters when it helps you develop a specific technical skill that's in demand. For instance, UX designers with formal training in user psychology or art directors with deep typography knowledge bring extra value that can be directly tied to their education. Here's a quick poll. Drop the 1 in the comments if you studied advertising, or a 2 if you came into the industry from another door, another background. I'm curious about who's watching. So, what replaces education? So if traditional education isn't the deciding factor for your advertising career, what replaces it? Here are the real currencies of industry. First, your portfolio and the thinking behind it. Whether you're a copywriter, an art director, a strategist, a marketing or brand manager, your ability to showcase your original thinking trumps any degree, period. I've placed architects transitioning to UX design roles who had never taken a formal UX course, but created portfolios that demonstrated their unique understanding of how humans interact with space, just digital space instead of physical. Your network and your references. You have seen people skip multiple interview rounds and get jobs because someone internally vouched for their work ethic and creativity. This industry runs on relationships. Third, your specialization and your POV. Remember what I always say, stop being a Swiss Army knife. The generalist with an advertising degree often loses to the specialist with a unique perspective and deep expertise in one area. Fourth, your ability to speak the language of business results, right? We got to make this matter. We got to make this relevant. Clients at Apple or Samsung don't care where you studied. They care if you can deliver ROI. I need you to learn to connect your business work to creative outcomes, and you'll outshine any Ivy League grad. But there is one factor that outweighs everything else I've mentioned so far. Are you ready? The ultimate currency. The ultimate currency that replaces formal education in advertising is your demonstrated ability to learn quickly and adapt. The tools and platform we use today, they didn't exist 5 years ago. The agencies leading the pack now, many weren't founded when I started recruiting, and the skills that matter are constantly changing, and they're needed to be in the game. This is why I've seen self-taught professionals absolutely crush it in their careers. They've proven they can learn anything, anytime, without needing a structured program. Hey, take my client Sarah, for example. English major, no ad skill, now ECD. How? She taught herself every new application and approach as it emerged. While her peers were resting on their portfolio school credentials, she was experimenting with emerging tech and building case studies, playing show and tell. Or Mark, a history major who's now leading strategy Deutsch. His secret? He reads voraciously across disciplines and can apply concepts from completely unrelated fields to advertising audiences and problems. I've seen this at tech companies too. Designers I've placed have often unconventional backgrounds, but shared one trait. They were learning machines who didn't wait for formal training to master new skills. I'll tell you a secret. I didn't study advertising either. My background was in English literature with studies in theater and Middle Ages English lit, and I had to learn this industry from the ground up. That's probably why I have so little patience for educational snobbery in recruiting. Some of the most creative minds I've placed at companies like Disney, Chiat, and Fox came from completely unrelated fields. So whether you've got an advertising degree or not, here's how to position your education for maximum perspective. For the ad school grads, I want you to stop leading with your school name and start leading with your unique perspective. Use your education to demonstrate specialized knowledge, not just general credentials. I need you to leverage that school network. You paid for it, but don't rely on it exclusively. And for you non-traditional backgrounds, I need you to connect the dots between your education or your life and advertising thinking. I need you to position your outside perspective as an advantage, not a liability. Demonstrate your self-directed learning with side projects and certifications. Proof is in the pudding. Are you serving? For everyone, maintain a learning portfolio alongside your work portfolio. Show you can do it. Document your process, not just your outcome. Be ready to explain how you think, not just what you've learned, and show examples for each category. Look, the best creative directors I know don't care where you learned. They care how you learned and what you do with that knowledge. So look, education in advertising is like the brief versus the actual client work. What's on paper rarely matches what matters or the outcome. If you're stressing about your educational background, stop. Start focusing on building a body of work, a POV that demonstrates how you think. And remember what I always say, it's not the school that matters, it's the student. The industry is constantly evolving from traditional to digital, from mass media to personalized experiences. Are you flexing accordingly? Or are you still relying on outdated credentials and approaches? Your ability to adapt matters more than where you studied. If you found this helpful, do me a favor, like the video, subscribe to that channel, and hit that notification bell. I'm dropping new videos every week with the insider perspective on advertising careers that no one else is talking about. And if you're looking for more personalized guidance, check out my website at insidejobagency.com, where I offer one-on-one coaching sessions for advertising at all career stages. Drop your education background in the comments. I genuinely want to know who's watching and how I can help with your specific job search situation. Until next time, this is your creative career insider, Mindy Worel, reminding you that in advertising, it's not about where you learned, it's about how you think.